and welcome to the Victorious Living Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Nikeya Young, and welcome. It is 2024. We are rocking and rolling, and we have a very, very special guest in the studio with us today, and that is Kim. And I don't want to mispronounce your last name. Is it Rahir?
Absolutely.
I
Well
got
done.
it. Awesome. Kim Rahir. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
You are so welcome. And you guys, we are titling this episode Taking Command of Your Health. Taking Command of Your Health. So, the theme for this season of the podcast is Command Your 24. Command Your 24. And there is a double meaning to it because it is 2024, but also we each all have something in common. And that is that we all get the same 24 hours in a day. And how we use them determines the level of success we will have. So, throughout the season, we're going to be talking about different topics and we're going to be talking to different guests about levels of focus and discipline that it takes to achieve a goal. And Kim is the perfect guest to kick this conversation off because taking command of your health is something that we all aspire to do on a regular basis, but at no other time of the year is this goal more popular than January. So
Absolutely.
tell us about your story. How did you get into this health journey?
Well, I used to be a journalist, and we were traveling around the world all the time, moving from country to country, three
Mhm.
kids in tow. And I had been working as a freelancer for a long time, and finally gotten this full-time job again, like a nice career move, three kids. I thought I had sort of made it and had it all. That was exactly 15 years ago. And I thought I was at the pinnacle. And then from one day to the next, literally, I was struck down by a very scary, inexplicable at first disease.
Oh
I
no.
started seeing, I started seeing double, which was like really scary because then when you see double, you know that there's something wrong in your brain.
Mm,
Was hospitalized, tons and tons of tests and checkups, and they did guess right away that it was probably something autoimmune, but since my symptoms didn't fit into all the boxes, I spent 6 weeks in hospital, sort of not knowing what was going on. And that was
mhm.
super scary. Super scary. After 3 weeks, I could not even wiggle my toes. I was sort of
Wow.
paralyzed without any sensation from the hips downwards. And I can honestly say that was the scariest time of my life because there was no way of knowing would I ever walk again.
Mm,
Now they pretty soon guessed that this was probably this one-off autoimmune thing that would go away, but it took its time in going away. And I got home. I mean, it was really exactly 15 years ago. I got home just one day before Christmas,
wow.
and I was in a wheelchair, and my kids were small, and like my whole life had been turned upside down. That's for sure. And that was just the beginning because I then had to get transfusions monthly for two
Mm,
years. After 2 years, the doc told me, okay, I think you're fine now. You don't need the transfusions anymore. So I thought, wow, I've got a new chance, a second chance at life.
yeah.
When they told me that, I cried all day with, with emotion and happiness.
Mhm.
And the whole thing lasted for about a year and 3 months. And then we moved countries again. We moved to France, and I felt numbness in my left hand. My fingers was it was somehow moving upwards again, same like it. My legs had been paralyzed, like in a downward movement,
Mm,
and tests again, checkups again, and then I was diagnosed with MS, and
wow.
that was absolutely cruel because I was so happy. I was like, I had gone back to being healthy and being a normal person as I thought. And then it was all taken away again. And I sort of, I didn't want to be that sick person. When you first get diagnosed, it's really scary. And especially with autoimmune stuff, you don't know where it's leading.
Yeah.
But I didn't want, because the hospital stay had been so unpleasant. You feel like you lose your self determination, you lose your dignity. And when I, the second time around, I just spent a few hours in the hospital for a transfusion. I could go home, and I was sure of one thing: I didn't want to adopt that identity of a sick person. I wanted
Yeah.
to be my own boss. So as soon as I felt better again, and it wasn't a big relapse that I had when I was diagnosed the second time. It was just my hand, and my hand is still numb today, by the way. So
Mm.
I do have
Wow.
lesions, but I could walk, I could function more or less normally. So I asked my doctor, "Can I exercise?"
Hmm.
And he said, "Yeah, you can exercise, but please be careful." And and I thought, what does that mean?
Yeah. It's
It's
kind
like
of vague.
try, yeah, it's vague. And it was like he was sort of trying not to take responsibility for me doing something that he didn't know about. Um, Not saying no to exercise, but not giving me like carte blanche to just do whatever I liked. It was
Yeah.
very vague. But since I felt that I could move normally, I decided I'd just go back to the gym and I would start lifting. Before that, I had been lifting or training with this purpose that we have as women, that we want
Mhm.
to sculpt our body, that we want to look good, that we want to be in shape. And that time, after being ill, I went back and I said, I want to build myself back up again because
Mhm.
my legs were a bit atrophied, and I thought I want to get strong again, like physically strong. It's got nothing to do with losing weight or of looking for a particular specific physique. I just want to be strong,
Mm.
and it worked like a charm. I got strong really quickly, and then for all my checkups with my disease, the doctors were very surprised because I was actually in pretty good shape pretty soon.
Awesome. 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 Now, you all, I forgot to tell you that Kim is a bodybuilder?
I'm a weightlifter. That's a
But
difference.
it's different. Okay. Weightlifter, bodybuilder, I'm impressed by either or because I am a cardio queen. I'm a self-proclaimed cardio queen. And so I have to make myself lift weights because I know I need to, but if you're not used to it, it can be kind of confusing trying to figure out what to do and how does this machine work and not wanting to be one of those crazy people at the gym that's doing the machine all wrong. So, I hats off to you for weightlifting and tell me more about what you've done with the weightlifting. You've done some big things with that.
I have. Um, I feel lucky and blessed that I get to do all these things, and I'm grateful for being able to walk after what I've been through. But after
Absolutely.
like lifting for a while and lifting, like in a training way where you do
Mhm,
deadlifts and squats and curls and whatever, a coach of mine said, Do you want to try Olympic weightlifting?" And I
mhm,
said, "Okay. What is it?" And he said, "Yeah, it's these two movements that you do. You have to put the bar overhead. One is in a snatch, which is in one go,
right,
bar
mhm,
from the floor overhead. And then the next one is a clean and jerk in two goes." And I remembered watching with my dad when I was a little girl, we watched the Olympic Games, and we watched weightlifting sometimes.
mhm.
And, at the time, it was just like overweight men wearing very weird outfits and lifting. That was my memory of that. But I thought, yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I'm always curious. I'm a lifelong learner, and I tried and I was hooked right away because it's a cool mix. You have to be strong, but the strength in itself will not help you because you need the technique. You have to
Mm,
overcome gravity. You have to be very smart in overcoming gravity with a certain technique. So you have to, it's that is lifelong learning. You can always get better, and it's especially when you're not 20 anymore. It takes a bit
mhm,
longer for your brain to adopt all these movements.
mhm,
Um, but I liked it that much that changed. I left the commercial gym and I joined a weightlifting club, and I had been there for 2 weeks when they said, "Kim, do you want to compete?" And I said, "What? Me compete? Do you know how old I am?" And they said, "Yeah, well, we don't care." And it turns out there's actually a whole masters competition culture out there, and masters is for people beyond 35 years of age. So you become an old person pretty early in life. And it's not only for weightlifting, there are masters competitions for track and field and gymnastics and for everything. And I think
Wow.
it's absolutely great because older people, they don't say we're going to sit on the sofa and watch the grandkids. They want to go out there and have fun and measure themselves with, with their peers and enjoy this. And I realized after competing for the very first time here in Spain, where I live, that I actually had lifted the minimum required to take part in an international competition. So I went to the European Championship, and that was in the year 2019. And I remember until this day that I was hesitating. I thought, well, I only just started. Maybe I should wait 1 year before I go, get a little bit better. And then I thought, no, you have to, if you can go this year, go by all means. And
Yes.
then the following year, the pandemic happened, and I would never have been able to do it. So I have been so happy
Mm.
that I just went
Look
for
for
it.
it then, yeah.
And I've participated every year since then. And this year I managed to become a European champion.
Yay! Congrats to you on that. That is so awesome. Now, you have to tell us exactly how old you are.
Well, I turned 60 in September.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, doesn't she look good? I would have never guessed anything over 49, and I'm being
Oh,
very serious. I will be this is my birthday month. I actually turned 43 at the end of the month. So, yeah, you're my shiro. I wanna be doing
oh,
things like that, like, from now way into my 80s and 90s, honey. I wanna be a feisty grandma when the time comes.
yes, that's the best plan of all. And I have a coach who says that people over 50, they become so, well, he doesn't say wild. I think he said they become anarchists, but because they do whatever they please, and I
Yes,
love that. I love that. That's the plan. When you have nothing left to prove in life, and you can just go
absolutely.
for it and do whatever you enjoy.
Amazing, amazing. So, I was just going to ask, what advice could you give to people? We have listeners that are I consider myself a Generation Xer, and we've got millennials, and then we've got a few Gen Zers, the generation behind us. What advice would you give to people at different stages? Because the 20s, I would say that's the age where you think you are invincible and you can just pretty much do whatever you want and eat whatever you want. And you've got this fast metabolism and you're just fearless. That's the 20s. And then the 30s, you still have a little bit of the energy of your 20s, but you're a little bit wiser. But I would say, like, depending on how hard you partied in your 20s, and teens around late 20s, early 30s, and definitely by the time you get to 40s, that's when check engine lights can start to come on and your body starts giving you those indicators that you're not a spring chicken anymore. You may want to do some things differently. So let's go 20s, 30s, 40s. What should people be doing for their health?
But the one thing that I recommend, and I'm a total believer in this, and this you can, best start as early as possible,
Mm,
is lift weights. Lift
okay.
weights or do strength training. If you hate the gym, I understand. You can do it at home. You can just work with your own body weight, but do work your muscles and become strong. And that is like, from the 20s. The sooner you start, the better. This is really
Mm,
something that I think this is the one stop shop solution for
mm,
so many things. We're realizing this now. Science is sort of catching up with people who sort of felt that in their guts for a long time.
yeah.
It's absolutely everything. It's your metabolism, it's your bones, it's your joints, it's your mental health. And
Mm,
this is something that I'm noticing right now, because you say when you're in your 20s you feel invincible, but I
yeah.
think it's true in a physical sense, because you think that you're immortal, right? Because you're
Yes.
20, you don't really have it have this. It's not top of mind that your life on this planet is going to end at some point. But I
Mhm.
do seem to notice that people in their 20s now, when it comes to mental health, and they have lived this pandemic also, which has taken a
Mm.
big toll.
Huge toll.
I think, yeah, I think they are. Um, not they do not feel invincible in that sense. I think they do struggle sometimes with worry
Anxiety,
and
yeah.
fear, and lifting weights is really a great remedy for that. And this is not just me telling you this. There's tons and tons and tons of studies over studies that will confirm that anxiety, depression, all these symptoms recede. They become less when you lift weights. So that's the first thing you want to do at any kind of age. Um, from your 30s onwards, you cannot forego that at all, and especially as a woman. If
Yeah.
from your 30s onwards, you lose 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade if you do
Mm.
not counter that, if you do not fight that. And I know that you know this because you just told me you don't really enjoy the weights, but you know that you have to
Mhm.
do them
You have
because,
to.
um, yes, so that's what you want to do. And basically, this is the main the main focus that you should have. And I'm pretty convinced no matter how old you are, you can focus on that and you'll be getting better, feeling better at any stage. And there's a pretty recent meta study that came out, and there's a big misconception about metabolism because,
Mhm.
listen to this, it stays roughly the same from your 20s until you're 60.
Wait,
So
time out. You said it stays roughly the same. Are you sure?
ab-
'Cause I
absolutely.
swear once I got into my 40s, my metabolism, it didn't slow down, honey, it parked. It just quit on me. I was like, "What happened? Where did it go? Why is my metabolism like what happened?" So I just went to I have a naturopath doctor, and he prescribed me some supplements to help, get that going again, give me some thyroid support, but yeah, interesting things happening once you cross the 40s and get into perimenopause and menopause and beyond. But I want to know more about this because that's my first time hearing that it stays the
Yes.
same.
Yeah. I think it was at the beginning of the year that the
Mhm.
BBC published this piece of news where they had done this big study, and it makes sense. I think the biggest thing that we do not realize, because it's very sneaky and it creeps up on us as we
Mm.
age, we tend to move less because
Mm.
like in your 40s, you're probably at the height of your professional career. You have to work hard, you have a young family, you have to look after them. So you are very, very busy with life. You're doing
Yeah.
so many things, and you might be moving less without even noticing it, and you might be eating more without noticing it,
Mm.
and it becomes just this, it feels like it's an inexplicable thing because you're not really thinking that you're doing anything different. I'm just the same. I'm doing the same things as before, but somehow the weight seems to stick to me. But mostly, it's actually not the metabolism that slows down. It's you who's slowing
Oh,
down.
oh my goodness. She said it's not our metabolism, y'all. It's us. Lord help us today.
I think that's good news. It's great news
It
because it's not
is. It's great news because
this
it's like,
weird thing, yeah,
right.
that
I
you
can
can't
like,
do
oh, I
anything
can do
about. You
something
just,
about that. Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a whole different paradigm shift. Because yeah, you probably think, I don't think I'm moving that much less, but clearly you are if you're seeing.
Just imagine all the stuff that you've got on your plate. Yeah, especially
Mm, yeah.
in your 30s, your 40s. There's so much going on, and there's
Hmm.
one really important thing that I always stress. Um, just imagine, you're like in your 50s, and all of a sudden you realize that you're carrying too much weight. You've become sort of stiff,
Hmm.
and you feel old, and you think, oh my God, I should have looked after myself better. If you haven't exercised enough, if you haven't eaten perfectly, you
Mm,
have done so for a reason, because you were
yeah.
looking after everybody else. You were
Mm,
taking care of business. So, don't judge yourself for this. You make decisions and choices every day of your life, and you make them for a reason. So,
Mhm.
if you start beating yourself up because during your 30s or your 40s you didn't move enough or do this enough or didn't do this right, you're just, making yourself miserable instead of looking ahead and asking yourself, what can I do now?
Yeah.
I did those things and I did them for a reason, and the reasons are probably very valid and legitimate.
Mhm.
When you have small kids, you know that. When you have small
Yes.
kids, um, you're not going to say, oh, yeah, it's okay. Put your hand on into the hot stove. I'm going to do my workout right now. It's not happening. You have these urgent needs that you're taking care of for your family. So don't worry about what you did wrong. Just ask yourself, what can I do right from now on, from this moment onwards?
I love that. I love that. Because camping out in shoulda, coulda, woulda land is going to really set you back. And so we're propelling ourselves forward. We're commanding our 24, and we're going to have a very successful year. I saw something on your website, and I want you to talk about something that, because Kim is a health coach too, you all. Um, so talk about something that we can do 15 minutes each day that is life-changing. I saw that on your website.
Yeah, it's when you start strength training,
Mhm,
you just need to do a few fundamental movements, and those movements, they need to be very close to everyday life.
okay.
When you say bodybuilding or weightlifting, many people think of the 70s and have images of half naked men like Arnold lifting and
Yes.
pumping. Um, but those people were like training muscles, and the paradigm has shifted at the beginning of the 2000s. It is now recommended to train movements,
Hmm,
like pushing, pulling, carrying, stuff that you do in everyday life, and you
yeah.
can have a perfect full body workout that takes about 15 minutes, stimulate your muscles, practice those movements that will keep you functional and independent and strong and help you build muscle, and then be perfectly fine. You do not have to spend hours in the gym. You just need to practice a handful of movements, can do so daily, and then you will get better and you will feel. And that's the amazing thing. It
Mm,
takes about 2 weeks of training like that, and you will feel a difference. You will stand taller, you will feel stronger, you will notice the difference in your arms, your legs. When you do everyday chores, you become a different person pretty quickly. So I
mhm,
think this is also one of the obstacles, because people think, oh my God, I have to go to the gym 3 times a week and then spend one
mhm.
and a half hours there. No, you don't have to. You can really reach super ambitious goals by just doing 15 minutes every day.
All right, I love it. And everybody, because that's the main excuse that we have because we're all so busy and go, 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 hustle and bustle. It's like, man, I would love to do that, but I don't have time to work out. Well, everyone can find 15 minutes. So I'm glad
Yes.
that you brought that out. We can find 15 minutes and work the different muscle groups of our body for 15 minutes and then go about our day. And then as you find more time and you want to bump it up to 20 minutes and then bump it up to 30, you can, but everybody should be able to find 15 minutes. If we can't find 15 minutes out of 24 hours in a day, then something is horribly wrong, I think.
Absolutely. And there's a very simple exercise that you can do. If you're honest with yourself, you do you create a time diary. You just one
Mm,
day, you write
mhm,
down minute by minute everything that you're doing, and you're going to find so much room for improvement. You're going to find so many minutes that you're spending on stuff. Could be
mhm,
scrolling on social media, could be watching Netflix, whatever it is.
mhm,
If you do an honest time diary and check out, how you're really spending your day, you will
mhm.
find 15 minutes.
Absolutely. And yes, I've said that on another episode, but this thing right here, those of you who have iPhones, it'll actually, there's actually a button on here where it'll text you at the end of every day and give you a pie chart of how many hours you spent on your phone. It's very humbling. It'll say, "You spent this much time on Facebook, you spent this much," it'll break it down by app, and so that's a good thing too, if you do that, and don't try to adjust your behavior either, just, like, be your regular self, whatever you do, and then at the end of the day, look at it, and make the adjustments where you need to, like, "Woo, I'm spending way too much time here. Ooh, I'm doing way too much of this," and I think for people who have those "Oh my god" moments, because that's just the phone. Netflix, that's a whole different monster,
Yes.
television, so just if you are clocking between 6 and 9-hour days on just stuff that has to do with your phone alone, and that's not even counting television and your real everyday life outside of that, then you know where you need to make some serious adjustments so that you can hit your health and wellness goals, but also everything else that you've gotta do in your year, so that's awesome. So tell us what else you're working on right now. What do you have coming up? Any more weightlifting competitions or what do you have going on? Coaching stuff?
Y- Yes, well, I'm preparing for another European Championship, which this year is going to be in Norway, where it's a place
Nice.
I've never been. Yes, so I
Okay.
get to travel to places I don't know. And I'm launching this January this fabulous in 15 coaching program where
Mm.
I share, how you can actually get in shape with 15 minutes a day. You just have to tweak your eating a little bit. I'm, not a big fan of diets, so I try to work with my clients on the focus on what we need to eat, how we want to nourish our body, and not what we want to cut out or bad food. So this fabulous in 15 is coming out now in January, and it's supposed to be a game changer in the sense that you can realize how little time you need and how little restrictive your diet has to be if you just tweak your perspective and ask yourself, what is it that I actually want to give to feed my body? How, to nourish myself to be able to perform and feel awesome every day. Um, and it's so much easier. I mean, it's very effective, but it's also so much easier than, starting January thinking, okay, I'm going to eat cabbage soup for 3 months and then I will go back to normal and then I'll be a different person. Because, you know, if you've done that for more than one January, you know that it's not
Mhm,
going to
mhm.
happen.
Soon as you go back to regular scheduled programming, you gain all the weight back with interest. So it's best to just have a meal plan that's realistic that you can stick with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, awesome.
Anything that you do, anything that you start in January, you must be able to imagine that you can do it for the rest of the year, like
Yes.
24.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, where can people find? Because after you talked about this 15-minute thing, people are like, "Look, I need her. I need that. Whatever that coaching program is, I need that." How can people sign up and connect with you on that?
Yeah, you can go to my website, which is kimrahir.com. And you can start by taking an assessment that's on there. It's a free assessment where you can check out where you're at with your health and your strength right now. So I will not only ask you about, can you knock out push-ups or something? It's a deep health holistic assessment where you can sort of really get a glimpse of what's your situation right now. And then you can email me at kim@kimrahir.com and we can have a conversation and see where to go from there.
This has been so awesome and encouraging. Thank you for speaking with us. We have truly enjoyed this conversation. Oh, and I
Thank you
wanted to
so
say
much, Nikia.
Oh, you're welcome. And I wanted to say thank you for Kim found us, you guys. We have awesome listeners all over the globe. So Victorious Living Solutions is reaching far and wide, and we're very excited about that. So if anybody else is out there and you have a compelling story about discipline and focus and how you overcame odds to be successful, reach out to us at info@victoriousliving solutions.com and we may speak to you next. I really want to hear these stories about living victoriously. Kim has done that, overcoming age. People think, I don't know why people think women just go out to pasture after 35. I don't know why people think that. But she has aged well, looks lovely. She's conquered MS. She has won European weightlifting championship. Those are the kind of stories we want to hear more of. Like, how have you overcome odds to live victoriously? Write us and let us know. And Kim, oh, give us your social media handles before you get off. Where can we connect with you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me with my name, Kim Rahir, on
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram. I'm out there, and you can, follow and see what I'm up to, my weightlifting, but also
Mhm.
find, get some tips and tricks on how to improve your own health and fitness.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. You guys go follow her right now and reach out to her and get in that program. Take that assessment.
Thank you, Nikeya. It's been
All
great
right.
fun talking to you.
Likewise. And thank you all for tuning in. This has been Victorious Living Solutions Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and keep living victoriously. Goodbye, everybody. Hey, Victors. Coach Nikeya here. So let's see. You've set your goals for the new year. Check. You've created a vision board. Check. So that's it. You're all set to have a happy new year, right? And achieve all of your goals this year. That's got to be enough, right? Not so much. Did you know that 92% of people set goals and say, I'm going to do this and so by the end of the year and don't achieve them? Did you also know that the likelihood of you achieving your goal shoots up by 65% if you have accountability partners? And with that in mind, we are pleased to announce the Command Your 24 online course. This course is just what you need to make sure that you crush your goals despite life's challenges and have a victorious 2024. It comes complete with 8 weeks of powerful transformative teachings, weekly assignments, and weekly Q&A sessions with yours truly, access to a private online community, and so much more. You will also receive a 20% discount on all future courses, merch, and etc. So don't delay. Register today. We start February 1st, and we are going to have a victorious 2024, and we want you to join us.